It's Tuesday, and we welcome you to this week's edition of the Falcon Focus Podcast. We're live from the Concordia Cafeteria from now until 10:15, live on Facebook Live, archived on cuwfalcons.com. You can download the audio thanks to Podbean and listen through iTunes. My name is Menzl. On this week's edition, we talk Concordia men's volleyball. Big night for the second-year program tonight. They play in their first ever NAC tournament matchup, a first-round matchup at Aurora. They serve up set one of best of 5 at 7 p.m., and we'll talk with head coach Curtis Madson. But first, we talk acrobatics and tumbling, and we are talking with senior Alyssa Ellis. And season that, at least the regular season-wise, came to a close this past Sunday, a very successful Sunday in knocking off Adrian. And for the acro and tumbling team, they've now won back-to-back meets, hoping now for postseason competition. They'll find that out hopefully on a Sunday. But Alyssa, first of all, thanks for your time here this morning. And, you know, mentioned the regular season just ended on Sunday at Adrian with that victory, and now back-to-back meet wins for the Falcons. How do you feel, at least for you, the season went individually, but then also when you look at the team, how do you feel the season went?
I feel so great. First of all, thank you so much for having me. This whole season, ever since we started working together in September, we have worked so hard, and it truly reflected on Sunday. It was a surreal moment. Everyone is so proud of each other, and we work so well as a team.
Your head coach, Sarah Koenig, was quoted after the meet on Sunday as saying that, you know, these past few weeks, we've been pulling everything apart, talking about the little things, you know, trying to put it all back together. When you look at the focus of the team, what was the focus? What was the mindset going into Sunday?
The mindset going into Sunday was to try your best. We kept saying that before the meet. Just try your best. You have the skills. We've done it in practice. All we can do out there is just try your best. So that was the mindset going in. Be confident in yourself. We all believed in each other, and that really showed.
Yeah, on Sunday against Adrian, the team posted season-high scores in 13 heats. They finished the day with a season-best score, and you know, you look at, you know, some school point records were set as well. How much fun was it to be a part of Sunday? Again, as you mentioned, just seeing everything come together.
It was extremely emotional. It was bittersweet. When we heard those pyramid scores, our whole team was hugging each other and crying. We always knew that we deserved those scores, and we worked really hard. And high scores are really difficult to achieve in acrobatics and tumbling, especially since most coaches come from a gymnastics background, which is extremely critical. So all we could do is go into the meet and know that we tried our best and that we're happy regardless of the scores. So none of us really had our hopes up for getting a high score. So when we heard those results, we were all ecstatic.
And you and I were talking off air. You know, Adrian, I mean, they've become a pretty good opponent now. You know, you look at the growth they've had as well. And so, I mean, that's a great result on Sunday against a team that's improved greatly over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Adrian is probably our closest competition. So we really had that fire behind our butt to come back, especially since they did win against us in the beginning of the season. We really wanted to work as hard as we could just to get that win back as well. There's a little competition piece involved.
And now it's the waiting game because, again, for the Falcons, they await event finalists to be announced, and hopefully that by Sunday to see if, again, the Falcons get the opportunity to compete and repeat by competing at nationals, perhaps in the pyramid event finals. Are you anxious right now? I know you're confident that you feel like you guys will be back at nationals, but is there some anxious moments right now, just not knowing if your career is over or if it will continue?
Honestly, I feel 100% confident, and even if we weren't to return at the end of April for nationals, I feel so happy with how we ended. So either or, I am ecstatic with how this season went, how my last 4 years went, and I hope that they get some more recruits so that more individuals can experience this type of feeling of being in this sport.
Now, you came to Concordia by way of Rhinelander. Why Concordia?
Concordia, well, actually, my best friend, Sky Skinner, came to tour Concordia, and she said, Alyssa, this is a perfect school for you. You should check it out. So I came, and I fell in love with the environment, the Christian environment especially. And as I was applying, it had a little checklist of what types of sports you were interested in. And with my gymnastics background, I thought, oh, acrobatics and tumbling. I know how to tumble, so I'm going to check this. Day after, the head coach at the time, Christina, emailed me and said, hey, I'd love for you to come for a recruit visit. I'd love to meet you and see what you're like. So I came for a visit. I fell in love with the sport. I was so intrigued. I've never topped in my life. And to know that I've been topping for the last 4 years, coming from a gymnastics background, was extremely surprising to me, but so much fun. It was really great to learn how to do this sport.
And you mentioned topping, and that is your position. It's listed as top.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean for those that have no clue about acro and tumbling?
That means that I am the one that is put literally on top of other people. So other people lift me up, they toss me in the air, and I do stunts. I do a lot of balancing on top of other people, and basically have to hold different positions for a certain amount of time, and we have to work together with the people underneath us to balance and to hold the skill.
And have you ever, and you said you never did anything like that in the past?
No, I was a gymnast, so it was completely individual. I never worked hand in hand with another person before, so it was something that I had to learn right off the bat.
So how does that work? A lot of trial and error at first?
Yes, lots of falls, lots of trial and error. That's why our sport is so important to spot each other. Right away, first practice, we learn how to properly spot each other so no one gets injured. But definitely, it takes a lot of practice. That's why we start practicing way back in September, because we need all those practice days to get good at what we do.
Were you anxious, nervous at first when you started, trying to balance and do some of the things you had to do up top?
Yes, definitely. For a top, it takes a lot of trust in your bases to trust them that you won't hit the ground if you fall, that other people are going to be there to catch you. Coming from a gymnastics background, a lot of gymnasts have trouble trusting because they've never been hand in hand with a person before. So there is an extreme mental piece about it. I believe the sport is 50% mental, 50% physical. So it's definitely something that I had to overcome my freshman year. But after you get over that trust factor, it's a lot of fun. And I think the trust factor is what makes us so close as a team.
You talk about the trust factor. I'm curious because, like any other sport, you have athletes that come and go. I mean, they graduate or they move on. Do you always have to redevelop that trust every year, or have you been lucky enough to have some of the same people that trust has always been there the last couple of years?
Well, for my class, I've been able to trust them ever since the beginning freshman year. Obviously, more new people come in throughout the years. And I guess it is kind of another trust factor to trust these new people that you've never met before to catch you. And a lot of our newbies this year, half the team is new freshmen or just new people that are in different grades that decided to try the sport for the first time. And we definitely had to work together. I think our coach does a great job at creating team bonding activities so that we learn from each other, we get to know each other, so it's easier to trust each other more. So that definitely helped us bond and kind of eliminate that fear.
Well, jumping ahead, I was going to ask you about the fact that you're one of 7 seniors on this year's team. What have your teammates meant to you, and what has this senior class, how close have you guys been over these last few years? We have
been so close. It is unreal. I came into Concordia not having any friends but one, and I accumulated a family coming into this sport, and every year new people are added to the family. And I think our coach does a great job at practices, creating little games for us to play, making practices fun, but then also making them serious. And when they're serious, we come together and we talk about how much we appreciate each other, how much we believe in each other, and how much we're proud of each other, and that really kind of solidifies our connection.
So when you look at the sport as a whole, what's your favorite part about it?
My favorite part about this sport is traveling. We love to travel and compete at different schools, but the travel time, we like to do a bunch of different activities together when we travel, and even on the bus, we love talking with each other and playing games, and it's kind of like a family vacation. It's just so much fun, and that's definitely been my favorite part of all 4 years is traveling together.
Is there a favorite trip you had or a favorite place that you guys visited?
I would say we went to Nashville, Tennessee last year, and that was super fun because we were able to roam the streets and listen to country music. And I'm a big fan of country music, so I'm a little biased, but my whole team just had a great time together.
So how about for you individually? You and I were talking, as a HODAG, you competed not only in gymnastics, but track and field, volleyball, gymnastics. Not only did the team win a conference title, but you qualified individually for state. Okay, so then you go from gymnastics to, as you mentioned, you try acro and tumbling. How have you felt you've grown in this sport since your freshman year back in, 2016?
Right. I believe I have grown mentally and physically by this sport. Like I said before, it's mentally tough. There's a lot of trust factors behind it. And physically, this team has shown me my different strengths and also my weaknesses coming into this sport. I learned how to weightlift, and I've fallen in love with weightlifting. And that's something that I can take with me after season as well into my life. I've learned how to grow and to communicate with my teammates and see what they need. And I've learned a lot of life skills through this sport that will take me on beyond this sport.
Well, let's get to our rapid fire segment. Let's get to know Alyssa Ellis a little bit better. Again, one of the 7 seniors on this year's acro and tumbling team that is waiting to see if they are back to nationals, and they'll find that out this weekend. But we look at an event, at a meet. How do you go about preparing? What do you do before that gets you ready, gets you in the right mindset?
So if you've ever been to one of our meets, about an hour before, if you pass our locker room, you can hear our music. We put the music up so loud.
What type of music?
It's lots of today's hits and oldies, today's oldie pop music.
Okay.
And we're just dancing, and we're having a great time together in the locker room. Lots and lots of dancing. And then about 15 minutes before the meet, we have a locker room tradition where we turn off all the lights and we put a YouTube video on that's like a motivational YouTube video. And we all close our eyes and get really quiet and listen to this motivational speaker. And we listen to the same video the last 4 years that I've been doing it. And it really just calms you down, lets you focus in on what you need to do for this team during the meet. And it's super special for us. So that's kind of, we get all hyped, and then we come together, settle down, and we're ready to focus and compete.
Favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Favorite TV show and or movie?
The Office.
Favorite type of music?
Ooh, country.
Any sport you wish you had tried that you haven't tried or would like to go back and try?
That's a good one. I think I would like to try, like to go back and try softball.
Okay. Hobbies?
I like to read.
Any pet peeves?
People that chew with their mouths open.
Are you usually an early or a late person?
I am an early morning person.
Early morning?
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned to me, too, you follow schedules.
Yes.
And you have 4 jobs on top of the fact that you're a psychology major and you're in athletics. How do you handle it all?
I live by my schedule. I love to plan, and I'm really great at time management. I've learned throughout the years how to add some more things to my schedule.
I don't know how you do it. Dream job?
I would like to be a therapist, preferably for a family practice.
Just finally, I guess, as you get ready to wind down your academic career here at Concordia, what are your immediate plans for after graduation?
I'm actually starting graduate school at Concordia for my master's in professional counseling starting in July.
Well,
yeah.
Good luck with all that. And,
Thank you.
Alyssa, thanks a lot for your time. Hopefully you get the good news this weekend and your season's not done yet. And congrats on what's been already a successful season. And again, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
When we come back here on the Falcon Focus podcast, we switch gears to men's volleyball and we talk with head coach Curtis Madson.
When did our measurement of success in life become so common? Because as unpopular as it might sound, God never intended for any of us to live a comfortable life. He intended for each of us to live each day with a higher purpose, to go outside our comfort zones and use our gifts and talents in the service of others. That's why He created each one of us uniquely, remarkably, to stand apart from the crowd, to live a life that's actually uncommon. Maybe that's why at Concordia University, our students have never been satisfied with simply fitting in and doing great things, but instead becoming great people. And why our education focuses on not only developing what you know, but who you are and who you were made to be. passionate, faithful, courageous. Because living uncommon means living a you-first life in a me-first world, which isn't the easiest way. But at Concordia, it's the only way. After all, doesn't the world already have enough common? Concordia University. Live uncommon.
Welcome back to the Falcon Focus podcast. We're live until 10:15 on Facebook Live, archived on cuwfalcons.com. Of course, you can download the audio thanks to Podbean, listen through iTunes. And as we wrap up this edition, we now talk men's volleyball with head coach Curtis Madson, the second-year program about to make some more history tonight. An exciting night, NAC tournament, first-round matchup at Aurora, and they serve up set one of the best of 5 at 7 p.m. Coach, thanks for your time here this morning. How excited are you as the hours start to dwindle, and all of a sudden it's going to be match time before you know it?
First off, thanks, Matt. We're just trying to take it as another match day. It's exciting from a team standpoint. It's exciting to look at it, but we're looking at it. That's something for us to talk about down the road. We're just approaching it as another day, trying to with another match. I mean, obviously, it's an interesting situation, seeing as we both had to play each other on Saturday. There was a lot of things that went into that match for how it ended up playing out. But we're ready to get back on the court and keep playing. The nice thing about the conference tournament is everybody's season resets. It's just a new schedule, and we just got to go out and play. And Friday night, our guys show that they're at least capable of handling that pressure of a must-win. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting ready to go back and do our poll. Nothing's changing on our Tuesday. Our Tuesday is schedule's the same as any other Tuesday there, and like I said, just was waiting to get on here, just doing some of the original legwork on our coaches poll, because that's what we do Tuesday morning, and then trying to keep everything the same. So,
well, you mentioned you just saw Aurora on Saturday. You've seen Aurora twice during the course of the regular season. How do you feel you match up with the Spartans? What are your takeaways from those two matches? And again, as you mentioned, Saturday a little bit different with whether it be some players out, whether it be just the mindset of how each team approached.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see us play each other both at full strength, because both times we played, obviously, Saturday we had to hold a couple guys out due to injury, a couple other things. They were holding a couple guys out with injury coming back with the whole tournament being set Friday night. Both coaches were being cautious with guys that are dinged up after a long season. And the first time we played them, we came off almost a 2.5-hour match the night before at IIT with a real tough 5-setter that we flipped around and played 8-9 hours later. So it'll be nice to see both these teams play off at full strength. I mean, they're a good squad. I think we can put a good competitive match together and see how it falls from there.
You mentioned Friday. That was a big win against Illinois Tech, the team that you were battling for that final NAC tournament spot with. And the first time went 5 sets. This time it was a 3-set sweep. How impressed, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but how impressed were you with not only the team's focus but execution of that matchup? And yeah, except for maybe a couple of losses here and there, I mean, it pretty much from start to finish, your team was locked in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if I was surprised, but I was surprised. With a team comprised of primarily freshmen and sophomore on the court that haven't played in a big match yet. I mean, obviously, last year we were learning and growing, and we never got ourselves into a big match situation. And this year, with the double round, that pressure doesn't hit till a second set or second time through. I was really happy to see how they handled it and the focus that we took in just implementing the game plan. Now, the other side of that coin is. You don't know what you don't know until you know you don't know it. And I think that might have been part of it. Our guys just went into it because they really hadn't had a pressure situation, so they hadn't looked at it. So just hoping our guys can keep that same mindset from Friday and don't just get caught up in the moment and see what we can do.
Right now the team with 9 wins overall, 5 of which have come here in conference play. How pleased have you been with the progress that this young squad has made since day one?
Yeah, we've grown a lot. We're happy where we're at. I think we can all agree that we feel like we've left some stuff out there, and that's part of the process. But overall, I mean, they've taken a lot of great steps forward. They've done a lot of impressive things. They've pushed the maturation process of our program forward at a very fast pace, and we're really happy about that, but we talk about not being complacent. And, going back to the beginning of the year when we sat down and talked and we did the previews and things, we play in a real good conference, and the most dangerous thing we can do is get complacent where we're at, because we got to show up every day to play top to bottom in this conference. And our guys are starting to understand that, starting to put that in. Now that we started having some successes, now we can start looking at those other pieces that come after just having success and getting some wins and learning how to win and learning how to do that in the NAC and in our conference with the competition we see.
To date, I think it's fair to say the biggest, if not one of the biggest wins in program history came back on February 6th when you guys upset then ranked 13th MSOE, and they've been playing well since. Mm-hmm. You look back at that matchup, and in your opinion, how are you guys able to pull off that upset inside the John Boog Fieldhouse?
I think it goes back to being young. The moment didn't get too big because I think we were still young enough not knowing how big the moment was. And I know this isn't the way to look at it, but as a coach, it was exciting to get our first conference win in that match in program history. It was exciting to knock off the first top 15 opponent in that match in conference history. But for me, I looked at it, and I was already looking down the road to today when we were sitting here. I was just excited to know that we got that trump card in our pocket, because I believed all year that MSOE was a great team, and if things didn't play out right on Friday or right on Saturday, that was going to be a big match for us going forward. And so in all scopes of things, it was a huge match for us. And I think after that match, I think it raised the pressure on our guys a little bit, because they realized they can compete. Obviously, we had to have some things go our way. MSOE didn't necessarily have their world's greatest night, but at the same time, we still had to play and put it away. And that's what we kept talking about, is that we went out there and we hung with the team like MSOE and handled it. So we know that we're capable of competing every night. We just have to bring the focus and the effort each night.
We've mentioned a few times it is a younger squad, especially on paper. Obviously, they've grown a lot since day one, but you brought in a number of new faces here for year number 2, and one of those new faces, James Altoff, and when healthy, he is just lights out on the court, can be. Did you anticipate that he would have this kind of an impact so quickly at the collegiate level?
We knew James was a special athlete. We knew he was going to be a guy that came in and kind of solidified a position for us and went, and we were able to work through. Am I shocked? I've believed in James. I've known James for a long time. James was a guy that we put on top of our list that we wanted to go with. So I'm just glad James has showed up and played to make us right. I'm putting that much faith in him. But James will be the first guy to say it. The other guys on the team have put him there, and that's one of the other nice things about a guy like James, is that he's a team-oriented guy. He understands that this sport is more than just one guy, and he gives a lot of his credit to the guys around him. And he really raises his level of play for them, and guys around them are able to raise their level of play because he's on the court, and that's a big part, and that's a big part of us going forward. But yeah, to say I think he'd be averaging 4 points per set. I don't know. I knew he could hang there. I knew he would be a big part of what we're trying to do for the 4 years that he's here. So I'm happy he's proved us right, because you don't want to miss in that game. So
a couple other guys that have stepped up at least on the attack. A couple of returnees. You have Sam Rovick and Isaac Glenn. What have you seen from those two returnees this season?
I've seen a little more calm and confidence, and I think part of it is bringing a guy like James that does take a lot of game planning from the other side of the net, kind of frees them up a little bit. And I mean, Isaac, God bless his soul, last season, there were very few positions we didn't throw him at. Settling him into one position helps that. I mean, every week last year we were trying something different, and Isaac never knew what end was up, and that wasn't his fault. That was just us trying to figure out the way we could eke out a win, and allowing him to settle in, get comfortable and confident in his skill set at one or two logical positions, and knowing what he was going forward for him, I think, has been big. And Sam's just continued to grow and develop, and we're working with Sam. But we also knew Sam coming in last year had a big arm for us and was an arm we could ride in that situation.
Of course, one of the spots you threw Isaac at setter a year ago, and now you have a new setter in Connor Muff. He's been pretty effective, hasn't he? Not only from a setting standpoint, but he is the leader when it comes to service aces. Yeah,
Connor's another guy that we wanted to lean on when we came in here, and he's done a great job. Obviously, as a freshman trying to take on running a college offense, game planning against college defenses and all those different things. Obviously, there's a learning curve, and I think Connor will be able to grow and develop. And again, it comes back to we don't play in an easy conference, so that's a hard position. It's like bringing in a freshman quarterback. It's harder to be a elite freshman quarterback in the SEC than some other conferences. Yeah. And so he's taking it on head on, and the one nice thing about him is he takes responsibility for his decisions and where he plays, and he carries himself at a much more mature, older level in that piece. And as he gets there, that college experience will gain and grow, and I think he'll only continue to improve.
Right now, the team is averaging 2 blocks per set. How big is the block to this team's success, that net play with guys like Blake Swanson and Cody Shabaka?
Big. It's something we've been stressing. We always talk about, we do the math, and elite teams are averaging 16 points per set, and that's our goal, is we want to get there. And obviously that gets added up between kills, aces, and blocks. And there's multiple ways to affect a match. There's multiple ways to make that work out. And obviously we haven't reached that goal of 16, but that's what we shoot for, and the block's a big part of it. And we have to give Cody a ton of credit. I don't think this is something that's actually known. Cody had not played one repetition of middle in his volleyball career until the second week of the fall. We had some things roll out, and we needed to find another middle, and we threw him in there. And for a kid that's never played middle in his life, he's doing a great job out there, and we have to tip our hat to Cody for what he's done and the selflessness to step aside from where he was at to do what was right for the team at the time, to better himself and better the team. I couldn't be more impressed and happier with Cody's output, effort, and outlook on what he's doing. It's tough to change positions at this level, and it's tough to play middle at this level, and to change and learn that position at this level is an undertaking. So, I mean, that's something that I'm really impressed with this year.
Let me ask you from a team standpoint, do you set goals? And when I say that, okay, year one was year one. You lay down the foundation. Now you got year 2, and you're up to 9 wins and a NAC tournament appearance. Do you set goals, and if so, have you met those goals so far? Are you making the progress that I guess you envisioned when you started this program?
Yeah, we try to keep it fluid, though. And I'm not big on your last match, defines how good a season was and where it's at, because, some of our best matches have been losses. Some of our best rallies are when we don't earn points. We're just looking for growth right now. So we don't put a number goal on it. I mean, it'll be nice to hit that double-digit win season. It was nice to make the conference tournament. All those things are things that you go for. But right now, we just go out and try to challenge ourselves and push ourselves each day and compete and see where it's at, and have a process approach and trust the process, look at the process, and understand everything's part of the process. We talk short term, but we also talk long game, and that's really important in building a program from our standpoint, from the ground up, is always keeping the long game in mind, and little steps along the way will get you there.
How about for you? We talk all about the program, and you've been here since day one and helping get men's volleyball started at Concordia. This is obviously not your first coaching position, so when you look at coaching, what prompted you to go that route? Why men's volleyball? What prompted that interest?
I love the culture of men's volleyball. I've been around it my whole life. It's what I know. The people. I don't think men's, women's. There's no right, wrong, or different way to go. It just was. I've been drawn to it. I love the style of the game. I love the people in the game. I love the athletes. Coming and drawing this it's kind of the same thing we've talked with some recruits. How often in today's NCAA or today's society do you get to be part of something at the ground up? And it's very, very rare that you get these opportunities to start something and see what you can do and work on it. And so you're right, I've coached a lot of different places, and this is one challenge that some people don't ever get an opportunity to take on. And it really drew me to it and drew me back home to family and drew me back to the game that I really feel I've taken a lot from. And I believe in giving back to where you're at, and it's part of the reason why we push the boys clinic here and everything else is for our guys to understand that we all got a lot out of this game, and it's important to give back to the game that we came from. And I think that's where my focus on men's volleyball is continuing to provide those opportunities so people like the younger me have opportunities in the future.
So when this was a possibility, when you saw there was an opening, that there was a possibility you could help start the program at Concordia, was it a no-brainer for you to at least try for it, or was there some hesitation at first about the challenges that might lie ahead?
Yes. I think the answer is yes. It was a no-brainer, where also there were days I woke up and went, what did I do? Because it's challenging, because there is no real blueprint for this. But the good thing in men's volleyball is it is such a new and growing sport that I felt confident in the fact that within my network of people, I know a lot of people that have done this. And so being able to lean on those colleagues or those friends and go, okay, man, what did you do in this situation? Where was it? And that's part of the reason that I love the men's volleyball culture is everyone's been so open, so accepting, and so positive in wanting us to succeed, to make the sport better, that they're willing to help and guide, that I felt confident when those days come when I don't know the answer or I'm freaking out, that I've got someone there that can help me go through it. And so I said, yeah, let's do this. And I love the challenge. I'm still a competitor, and so this was what more ultimate challenge than there was nothing and you have to make something. And so yeah, it seemed like the right move at the right time.
Well, to wrap it all up, coming back full circle, okay, NAC tournament tonight against Aurora. In your opinion, if the Falcons are to be successful tonight, what needs to happen? What are keys to this matchup?
Focus on our side. We don't have to play perfect. We have to play clean. We have to play smart. Continue walking at the rate we're at, and just working hard and keeping the energy. When I can roll out statistics that we have, that when we win here, there, when we show up, we play as a unit. We put in energy, and we just focus on the little things. We've had success. It's a good team, and in a very, very good atmosphere for a home team to play in. So we just got to take care of our side, and one of the things we talk about is family, and just approach it as a family, and have 13 guys out there trying to take it on. And whatever the result, if we approach it from that way, I'll be very happy in the locker room at the end of the match tonight.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot for your time here this morning, and best of luck tonight at Aurora at Thornton Gymnasium.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We thank Alyssa, Ellis. We thank Coach Madson for joining us here. We thank you as well for watching. We'll do it again next Tuesday at 9:45 here from the Concordia Cafeteria for the Falcon Focus Podcast.